Hello, everybody. My name is Jarek Bucholc, and today we have a long-lasting friend, mentor, speaker, broker, agent, Keith Uthe. Hello, Mr. Keith.
Hello, Jarek. Great to see you.
Likewise. We've been knowing each other for a long time. In real estate investing world is like centuries, I believe so, right?
yeah. I think it's been at least 12 years.
12 years, yeah. I remember you are one of the first member of our organization, to be honest with you, right? So there is a lot of modifications since then, but that is the proof that we are not going anywhere, right, Keith?
That's right. Hey, as you know, as markets change and things change, we all have to learn how to adapt, right? That's part of why we're doing this today, is to help investors understand how you adapt and change. So,
okay. So, would you mind just briefly introduce yourself? To who you are, what you're doing at this moment, if you don't mind.
Sure. So I'm as you mentioned, I'm a mortgage agent or mortgage specialist with Mortgage Alliance and Rich Mortgage Group here in Calgary. My personal vision is that everyone shall live a life of abundance. So every day I look for ways that I can impact people's lives to make them better. And so whether that's sharing information, whether that's working with investors to help them make the right decisions, coaching investors on how to move forward with investing when they're stuck, whether they're a new investor or an experienced investor. I work with both to help them get unstuck. Perfect. And also, just wanting to make sure that people understand the details of a mortgage when they are getting one, whether it's an investor buying a rental property, a commercial property, or somebody buying their first home. Real estate is the single largest investment that most people are going to make in their lifetime. And so it's important that they understand as much as they possibly can about things other than rate that impact their lives in their mortgage.
Bingo. So Keith, what made you decide to become involved in real estate? Let's start from the beginning.
So the first thing that made us decide, and I invest with my wife, Nancy, is my partner in all of our real estate investing. It actually was purchasing a condo for her mom to live in as a fixed income senior. Her budget was, restricted in what she could afford. So we made the decision to buy a condo for her to live in. She's now since moved on from that condo into a senior housing facility, but we still have that condo as part of our portfolio as and being our first rental property that we purchased as an investment.
And that was 50 years ago in the
real estate. That was in 2003. Sorry, that was in 2003 that we purchased that. So that's 15 and a half years ago that we purchased that property.
And in the real estate investing world, it's like 100 years.
Yes. Yeah. Like the value on that property has gone from 112 to 290 down to whatever it is now. I don't know, 200, 210. Yeah.
That's okay. That's one of the most important parts of real estate investing and working with mortgage agents, brokers, is to understand the market fluctuates, and what if strategies is very important, right? So,
exactly.
Doesn't matter if the market goes up, down, or sideways. We should be knowing what kind of strategies utilize it and how to manage the money and investment, right? So, thank you very much for, willing to talk to me. I am so glad that you are, sharing your knowledge, and we will be offering a lot of resources through you about mortgages and everything, whatever is related to creatively structuring the deals, right? So that's the information. So what kind of investment, right? I believe that you are a mortgage agent at the same time real estate investor, right?
Yes, correct.
Perfect. That's bingo. That's additional plus, right? So what kind of investment you have made so far? Can you share the best deal ever you made, or?
Yeah, so I will share. So our investments to this point, have been mostly residential.
Okay. Sure.
everything from we've owned single family, just a single family home that was just the single family home, up to a fourplex is what we've had in our portfolio. We've achieved that through joint venture partnerships as well as purchases on our own. We've got properties in Saskatchewan and here in Calgary. So,
okay.
Yeah. And in fact, some of our best performing properties have been the Saskatchewan properties. In the downturns, we've never had to reduce rents. Our rents have only ever gone one way on our properties in Saskatchewan. So we've been very fortunate that way. One of our favorite properties is here in Calgary. It's a legally suited bungalow that we got the suite was illegal when we bought it. We went through the process and legalized. Actually, I think our registry number. I think we were the 10th legally suited property on the Calgary registry. So,
whoa.
Yeah. So we were one of the first to take advantage of that program. That property has multiple streams of cash flow, which we believe in. So rent, upstairs, rent, utilities, pet fee, basement, rent, utilities, pet fee, garage, and
parking lot.
There's a concrete pad. So
here we go.
We get for the garage and the concrete pad, we get $380 a month in cash.
Are you kidding me?
No. And then our basement, we were getting $1,475 for our 2-bedroom basement, including the utilities and pet fee. And main floor, we were getting $1,650 for including utilities and pet fee.
That's awesome, man. Right. So I had intentions to ask you what is your favorite strategy to be utilized, but I believe that you already answered, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's we love properties that either have or can be legally suited, detached garage, corner lot. And the reason for a corner lot is because it gives you more flexibility with the variety of tenants that are going to be interested in your property, just because of the parking situation. As much as your tenants may or may not decide to rent the garage, it's amazing how many tenants rent the garage but then decide to park on the street just because of maybe the setup of how the property is, and where the access in and out of the home is to get to the garage. It's amazing. Like, our main floor tenants never park in front of the house. They only park on the side of the house because they go in and out the back door. They don't go in and out the front door. So understanding how your tenants are going to use the property is an important factor when you're looking at it, as far as some of the things that you might be able to do for cash flow, or what positively or may negatively impact your cash flow. We have the backyard both have completely separate backyard. We have a fence down the middle and the back. The basement has their side. The upstairs has their side. It's one of the reasons we allow pets. We're also right across from Rose Hill Park. So pets, we can get premium rent because of that proximity too. People with pets want to take their dogs for walks, so that proximity is important to them. Having the separate yard so that they don't have to worry about their pets intermingling with the other tenants' pets. Keeps their animals separate, keeps their messes separate. You don't have people arguing. You don't have tenants arguing over who's not picking up their dog's poop. Right?
Listen, we are all adults, so don't worry about poo or anything like that, right? So
their crap is their crap, right? They can't say it's somebody else. They can't say it's the downstairs tenant not picking up or the upstairs tenant not picking up, because it's their own space. So I know a lot of people are negative on pets. One of our strategies is that if we're allowing pets, especially dogs, cats to a certain extent, we'll ask them to bring their pets to the viewing so that we can meet them, so that we know, are we potentially going to have an issue when if we have to go into the unit when they're not there, there's an issue with how that dog's going to react to us. That gives us a chance to be able to have them introduce us to the dog, or the dog can smell us. We can pet the dog. If we can't do those things, then that's a lesser than desirable tenant, right? We had. I mean, we had. I know a lot of people don't want big dogs, but we had tenants that had 2 bull mastiffs.
Whoa!
And they were the biggest babies. They were the most beautiful, kind dogs. Loved them. We were so. I think I missed them more than I missed the tenants when they moved out. But, you know, we were getting $100 a month in pet fees from them.
Yep, financial benefit also included, and you like the pets? Why not?
Exactly.
Yeah, and we have to.
But the other benefit, Jarek, is that when we bought it, the carpets were in good condition. And if we wanted to take it up a notch if we wanted to decide we want to take it up a notch on the property and spend several $1,000s putting in new flooring to replace the carpets and still allow pets, well, why bother? Because this way, you know, now that we've owned the property for just about 5 years, we're not, you know, we might have to look at maybe replacing some flooring. We'll see what our upstairs tenants are going to be moving out. So we'll see what the flooring looks like after it's professionally cleaned and they move out. But by allowing pets, you know, we can have more flexibility in our concern about pets wrecking flooring. Right? Why replace that? Yeah, as long as it doesn't smell, as long as like their pets aren't peeing on it and stuff, and it doesn't smell, and it's coming clean, and it's doesn't have rips and tears or anything like that, then, you know, we can continue on with it. There's other things that we've done to make improvements, kitchen, bathrooms, right?
Yep. Yeah. So are you working on any deals as a real estate investor?
We're actually currently evaluating a multiple property purchase of multifamily.
Whereabouts?
In Calgary. Yeah.
Whoa! You found the deal?
It's an off-market deal. The owner's 80-something years old. We've just started the process. We've just need to get some updated numbers from him so we can do a better evaluation of the numbers, and see what we can do to work out a deal, maybe with some seller financing. His kids aren't interested in taking over his portfolio, so he's looking to divest. He's looking to find a solution. So we're going to hopefully be able to present him with a partnership type solution that will be beneficial to him and in the future beneficial to his beneficiaries. We want to, so we just started evaluating that, and just today we went and looked at a dental office distress sale. All the dental equipment is still there, and it's a distress sale. The dentist just closed the doors and left. Brand new equipment, and so yeah.
Wow. So you have a cap rate, or do you have a numbers already, or you are just analyzing?
No, so on the distress sale, no, we don't have the numbers yet. We're waiting. Our realtor is going to provide us with. He actually has some potential dentists that would lease it. So we're just waiting for him to get us some numbers on the market rents that we can get for it. So that's something that that's just like this just came out yesterday. We went and looked at it today, so it's pretty new. And I need to call a couple of my dentist contacts and see if they'd be interested in partnering on it. So, or maybe you, Jarek.
You know, let's have a look. Suggestion: free dental work till they will be renting during the rental.
Exactly, yeah, no kidding. And so that's one deal. And then the multifamily, we got some initial numbers, but they're not updated for 2018. So to tell you what cap rate they are, I can't actually give you an accurate cap rate just because there's some of the expenses, but it looks like it might be in the 5 to 6 range, which would be
That's not bad.
Which would be a good range. If we can come closer to, if we could somehow come closer to 6, that'd be fabulous.
So you're going to offer some VTBs or ventures take backs, or
so we're going to see. We'll see what is interested in doing a vendor take back, and what we can do to maybe increase cash flows, lower expenses, bring the value up, and refinance.
One of the strategies which I liked and worked a few times is partial transition of the ownership within 3, 4, 5 years, right?
Yeah,
maybe that's something to consider, right? Because
because and I haven't done that yet, so maybe we'll talk more about that offline. But that sounds like it. That's kind of what I was considering, because then when it comes to being able to refinance out, it's going to be easier.
Yeah, it's definitely right. First year,
because he's in mortgage terms right now that are like to 2024 and stuff on some of these. So, his payout penalties would be significant.
Yep. Bingo. You see? Okay. So you are a mortgage agent, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Investor.
Yes.
Good fellow to know, right? Definitely, right? So let's talk about combine, the investing side of your business and the mortgage side. What kind of challenges you are facing, or what kind of pitfalls investors can face it while working on the investing side and mortgage side? I'm combining kind of two questions in one. What kind of pitfalls they facing?
Well, so anybody who's in business for self. So as a mortgage agent, I'm business for self. So one of the biggest things, especially with the new mortgage rule changes with the stress test, is understanding the balance between what it costs you in income taxes to declare enough income to continue to build your portfolio versus using a B lender stated income product, which you will pay more interest in compared to an A lender, but you can actually deduct that cost of interest and have lower use and declare lower income so that you pay less taxes. So taxes, bad debt; interest, good debt. So understanding how that balance. So if you have to declare an extra $30,000 in income over a period of 2 years and pay taxes on that extra $30,000, it's going to cost you at least $10,000 a year in taxes on that extra $30,000. While paying an extra 1% in interest rate, 1 or 1.5% in interest rate on a rental property, so that you don't have to pay that $20,000 in taxes, you're not going to pay $20,000 in taxes over a 5-year period on that B lender. You're maybe going to pay an extra $2,000 or $3,000 a year, which is tax deductible, which lowers your tax bracket. So that's where that rate conversation is so important, because it's not just about rate. And this is a business for self person, whether they're buying their own primary residence or whether they're buying a rental property. To have. And you can qualify, because it's stated income, the way they do it, you can qualify for more property. Now, you have to have 20% down if you use a B lender, but they'll allow borrowed down payments. So you might have 10% saved, you can borrow 10%, and then you got your 20%, but you can use stated income. It's understanding not all mortgage brokers work with all lenders or want to work with B lenders. There's some that only want to work with A lenders, and they only want to work with A clients. They don't want to work on the tough deals. I'm an out of the side the box kind of guy. I don't. My box doesn't have edges, and that's because I want to be able to offer as many solutions as possible, because that's what fits with my vision of everyone living a life of abundance. So in order for me to fulfill that, I need to keep an open mind. And because of the brokerage that I'm connected with, we do a high volume, so we get access to all the lenders. So when I do need to find solutions, I have multiple lenders I can talk to find those solutions. And I know that with Street Smart, that's an important part of what Street Smart teaches is sometimes you have to be able to look outside the box to find the solutions to moving yourself forward, whether it's in investing or you're buying your own property or in your business. And I know Street Smart is a big promoter of that aspect for the investors that follow and are members of Street Smart.
Yeah, there is a perception that, and I will elaborate if you do not mind, about the rate kind of vision, funnel vision for everybody, right? If there is a low rate, that I'm taking it. If it is, I'll pay less. This is the funnel, which many people are making mistake. Analyze it. Make sure that from the tax perspective, from your personal, finances, can you take that property, right? Can you make sure that? Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. Doesn't matter how much interest you pay, as long as you make more money than your monthly payments, whatever there is, and all the expenses, and you can still make money. I don't mind paying 30%. I rather not, but if there's necessary to do it, but make sure that you are making money from it, right? You know what I mean? So very important message.
And so if you have a good cash flowing property with an A lender, so and so like the property I described, the suited property, the legally suited property. I mean, our net cash flow on that property, we're talking $1,200 to $1,500 a month, depending on where rents have ranged. We've been in the over the period of time, we've ranged from net cash flows. Our lowest end was like $1,200 a month. Our biggest is $1,500, $1,600. But if we had to give up $200 a month to be able to buy that property and still have $1,000 a month cash flow, like that's a no-brainer.
Bingo.
But there's people that would balk at that. Or if it went from 500 to 300, like you have to be able to, you have to have an open mind, and you have to be prepared to understand what might, like you said, all these different parts, income tax implications, all these different parts, even just growth of your portfolio. Are you prepared to stall your portfolio because you have to take a 4.79 or a 5.19% rate instead of a 3.84, but yet you still can have positive cash flow? So it's really important that people understand that.
Definitely, right. And just to elaborate about Street Smart real estate investing concept is like there is a lot of people which are believing that buy, hold, and rent property is only one of the things as a real estate investor can do it, right? There is so many other options, obstacles, and ways to go into the property and come out and make sure, right? So please, guys, understand, Keith is amazing guy as a mortgage broker, as a real estate investor, and we already answered that. Combining those two forces, make sure that Keith understands all bells and whistles all over different aspects of analyzing the properties. And you have to have it, mortgage agent, you have to have a good accountant, you have to have an entire team and person who can look from outside that box and give you a guidance. Maybe this is a better option. Maybe this is that option. That's why Street Smart concept is coming in, right? To just guide you and make sure that you will be not making a mistake, stupid mistakes, respectfully, that you will be having a funnel vision, right? That's one thing which is very important.
It's helping clients to not make obvious mistakes. Or not see obvious red flags. That's what's so important in what a mortgage broker does. You can go into, sure, you might be able to go into your bank, but when you start talking about the fact that you have real estate investment properties or you're planning to invest in real estate, person on the other side of the desk, yes, their face is going to gloss over, and they're not going to have a clue what you're talking about. And they're going to go, well, you know what, come back tomorrow. I need to get somebody else to come and sit in here that understands this a little bit better. And that person doesn't necessarily understand it fully. So it's so important that you have people on your team and I know that people build relationships with their bank, and yes, you may be able to get a slightly better rate, you may not, but you're also going to hit a wall with your bank. And understanding mortgage, my role is to try to help you to continue to build your portfolio by understanding what lenders have as limits for rental properties. You know, if you're a buy hold investor, what are their limits on rental properties? Which lenders should we use first versus second versus third, so that we can get you maximum capacity for buying those. If you're a wholesaler or a rent to own or agreement for sale investor, well, okay, how do you make sure your contracts are written the right way so that your clients that you're working with to buy that property from you are going to be able to buy it when your contract is complete? If you're a flip client, understanding that what the different flip products are and how one product works compared to another, versus on leveraging the capital you have. If you don't have maybe a lot of capital, or you have a little bit more capital, and leveraging that in a different way. Like, there's so many factors and I work with so many different types of investors that, you know, those strategies. I've gone through training on all of those different strategies. I've done a flip. I've been there. I've done that. We've done flips, and we've basically done renos to hold with some of our rental properties, right? As well, because we've done renovations. We've done $3,000 and $5,000 renovations. We've done $35,000 renovations. You know, and so it's just understanding making sure when somebody's going into it, making sure they're going in eyes wide open. New investors bring me a property that they saw with the realtor, and they send me the property, and then I ask them, okay, show me your cash flow calculations for this property so that I can see if this is going to be a good property for you to work with. And then they send me their cash flow calculations, and then I ask them, okay, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? Well, what are those? Okay, well, you need to account for ongoing maintenance, so you need to have 5 or 10% accounted for maintenance. Vacancy, what if you have a 1 month vacancy? You need to account for vacancy rate. If you're going to manage the property, you might manage the property yourself, but you should pay yourself, because what if you decide, account for it in your cash flow, because what if you decide you don't like managing and you need to hire a property manager? So you should at the very least consider that you're paying yourself, and so that it's accounted when you're doing your cash flow of all these things, bookkeepers, accounting, advertising. Like, there's so many insurance costs a little bit. Insurance on a rental property costs more than it does on your primary residence. And and you know what? And I've had clients that they've ended up collapsing the deal and not buying. And that's, to me, that's fine, because I've helped protect them from making a mistake. And I've helped protect them from being a one-time investor who gets frustrated with it and never wants to buy another property, because I'd rather have you not buy this property, but then buy 5 you like, versus buying one property you don't like and then never buying another one again, because it impacts you negatively on cash flow, so you can't qualify, impacts you negatively on your outlook on real estate investing, all of those things. So those are important things.
I've seen strange situations where investors, let's say respectfully investors, but more likely speculators, they were calculating future appreciation into the cash flow because they are negatively cash flowing today, but value of the property goes up. And that kind of things happening, right? So one of the important messages is you do not know what you don't know. If you do not know, ask. Ask the professional, ask the mortgage agent, ask the investor, ask the accountant, and by developing a kind of infrastructure of people working together in that field and giving you a guidance, that's the most important thing. If you are listening now, if you are watching now, that's one of the important things. You do not know what you don't know. If you don't know, keep asking. Keep asking, keep answering, and teach somebody else how to answer those questions, right? Simple as that. Yeah. So, Keith, how do you see it, your business, from the perspective in the future? What would you like to improve it? How you see it helping others?
So, there's two keys. There's two keys to what I do. So, one, obviously, being a mortgage agent and a mortgage specialist is the number one thing I do to support my family and to help work towards our family goals. Mm-hmm. And so, but the other part is being the certified real estate investment advisor and providing mm-hmm. coaching for clients. And so when people work with me as a mortgage broker, if they're open to it, they get to tap into that coaching knowledge inside of things as well. Not everybody's open to it. Not everybody wants to answer the question why, right? Mm-hmm. When I start talking about and asking them about why real estate, because I want to find out where are they and how are they emotionally connected to moving this forward. Not everybody's open to that. And so they don't necessarily want to get into that discussion, whether it's because they become uncomfortable because they never really thought about it that way, or whether it's just an investment to them. And it's just an investment, it's just business, and that's all it is to them. So, for me, moving my business forward, I'm going to continue to build those two aspects together in what I do. So when I work with the people that I work with, they're getting a service that goes beyond what they can get from another mortgage broker, because I have no problem telling them if I feel like they're making a bad decision. I also have no problem telling them if I think they need to get off their duff and take some action, right?
Move your butt.
What's holding you back? Like why are you continuing to have a problem where you're analyzing and you're going into trying to make these lowball offers on properties that can cash flow at asking price, right? Why are you asking price? You show your cash flow numbers at asking price are great. Why are you trying to get it for $30,000 or $40,000 less? I get you want some of that instant equity, but what's more important to you? Your instant equity, that equity recognized today, is nothing compared to your equity in the future that you lose if you don't get that deal. Nancy and I certainly have a couple of regrets on properties where we didn't do agreements over even $5,000 or $10,000, and because we didn't have the right mentorship and coaching and support at that time when we were looking at doing those deals. And unfortunately, they've cost us opportunities on those properties we like: detached garage, corner lot, mm-hmm. 2-bedroom basement suite, and that's a mistake that I know we made, and I want to make sure that those people I work with don't make that same mistake.
Perfect. So, Keith, we will be, developing a kind of some presentations for the future. We will be talking more likely about second suites all over, right? Not necessarily in Calgary, but you are specialized in Calgary, right? However, I see a lot of potentials and good business relationship with you, because I can agree with everything, whatever you say. Paralysis analysis is not working. Move your butt respectfully, take an action. Otherwise, you will be just wasting everybody's time. We will be wasting your time. You will be wasting everybody else's time. And remember, family is the most important thing, supporting the family and making sure you will be having the opportunity to find out what your portfolio is, how you can take an action. If you will be making mistakes, that's perfectly fine, but keep asking. The mortgage agent like Keith, like any other professionals, is the primary key to be successful. You do not know what you don't know, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Like, a lot of investors, when was the last time you talked to a mortgage agent about a portfolio review?
Nobody does that.
That's something you should be doing, if not annually, at least every 2 years. You should be doing a portfolio review. Do you have a property that's a dog that you need to talk about some solution? Maybe you need to sell that dog because it's holding you back from growing your portfolio. Or maybe there's something that with that property that you can get some tips or suggestions on that can help turn it from a dog into a cash flowing property. Maybe the way your bank or somebody previously set up your financing is holding you back, and there's opportunities to do that. There's so many different. The financing market has changed so much in the last 2.5 years.
Yep.
That, for an investor to understand it all, there's only a handful that maybe have a little bit of a grasp on what's going on. But all the lenders have different rules on how many rental properties they'll do, how they calculate cash flow positive or negative on the property. They have different rental worksheets that they require being used. They have a different number of properties they'll accept. Is the property a former primary residence that was insured and now it's not? There's some lenders you can switch those into with no problem. Some lenders you can't. Some lenders right now, a lot of lenders are not allowing you to use income from illegal suites as part of your qualifying because they're doing research. So as much as I specialize and know the ins and outs of the Calgary secondary suite market, I work with clients in other cities
all over
and help them to understand how to and where to find the information to progress with secondary suites in other cities as well. They're not that dissimilar. The information is generally located and found in the same locations. It's just understanding where and how to find it and get access to it, and then understand it.
Yep. So we will wrap it up, and how we can anybody can contact you. There is information. Would you mind just mention the phone number and the email or anything, the way how we can be contacted?
Yeah, so it's right. So you can contact me. My email is keith@enrichmortgage.ca, and my phone number is 403-614-8843. We are licensed from BC to Quebec in the Maritimes, so I can work with investors right across Canada. I've done mortgages up in Iqaluit. So I'm an investment client that
where the heck is that?
In Nunavut. That's up in Nunavut. I have an investor client who lives in Nunavut, and they've got properties Newfoundland and in Cochrane, and so they're a coaching client actually, and then they decided to buy a home in Nunavut, and that's where they are right now. So we're licensed across Canada because of the size of our brokerage, and with being with Mortgage Alliance, we have that capacity to do mortgages anywhere in Canada. So
I hope that wasn't you.
Yeah, I'm happy to have known you, Jarek, from what the investing, that real estate investing group that we first met with under the Canadian Real Estate Investment Canada EIC, to now with Street Smart. And you've done some amazing things with growing Street Smart and making it an educational platform where people can connect and share ideas and share deals. And I look forward to being able to help the people that are connected with Street Smart to make Street Smart a platform where they can continue to grow their portfolio.
We are not going anywhere. We have already proven that we are, dedicated to help real estate investors the way the best possible within our experience and knowledge, right? And some idea, maybe we can do some kind of presentation or information session how that analyzing portfolio or profiles work from investors' perspective, right? Yeah. I would love to have an overview what takes how that is done, right? Because 2 years ago is completely different than now, and will be completely different in 2 years, right? From any perspective, right? And it's much more complex. The technology goes so advanced, everything is going to much more sophisticated, and you have to step it up and take an action, right? Simple as that, right? So,
and the way banks do rates now is completely different. Now there's different categories of rates. There never used to be. The new mortgage rules have dictated the banks to change the way they do rates. Every lender charges a premium on rentals.
So, Keith, I would like to thank you very much for being a part of our organization. I am envy you so much for that, what you've been doing, and I follow you all over, right? And hopefully at one point we will have a nice coffee or whiskey, or I don't know what you like.
I like whiskey. Whiskey or tea.
There you go.
With Amaretto.
Yeah, so we are on the trenches, and the message is very, very simple, guys. Look forward for the Keith on regular basis. We will be, sending you all the information about the future presentations with Keith. Contact Keith, be part active member of our organization, and move your butt respectfully. But that's that way I can say, because I have a right to say I'm Polish born. I don't give a damn. Thank you, Keith. And if you have anything to just wrap it up, I would really appreciate. And God bless.
Yeah, thank you, Jarek. I appreciate the opportunity to let people know more about who I am and what I do, and how I can help have a positive impact on real estate investors, and fulfill my vision that everyone shall live a life of abundance by helping them live in abundance. Thank you.